Oh, dude, you're not back to recording those game for each other video stuff, are you?
Totally, definitely going to record some game footage, and we're going to come back with Peggle,
No.
because Peggle was amazing.
Yeah, but it's not. We're not doing game for each other's. We're not. What's this? Who's playing? What's going on? No one's talking about it. Why? Because we're talking about something else today. Tom, what are we talking about?
We're talking about Peggle. Definitely talking about Peggle. See, Sam is winning at Peggle.
Yeah, I love Peggle. I really do. It's like a fun, simple. Yeah, I do Dark Souls. I'm fine with that. Hardcore gaming, but fuck it. I really like. Sometimes a nice, relaxing, simple game where I'm a cat with a pyramid thing. But anyway, we shouldn't be talking about games because this isn't really about games. This is footage.
Yeah.
What we've got on the screen is just so there's something dynamic on. Here's something else.
Good.
And we're back. What are we talking about, Tom? It's Tom and Sam here from Happy Things Productions. Michelle Rodrigo couldn't make it.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, she never turns up for these videos.
She's probably somewhere in Mexico by now.
So we're talking about our latest film, I guess. Our latest shot.
Latest at the time of recording.
Yeah.
Hopefully there'll be more. Parabel.
Parabel.
Yeah, I figured it'd be good because, you know, it's fun to talk about these things. It might be interesting. There might be some interesting tidbits. I enjoy, like, DVD extras. You do. I especially enjoy when the makers talk about their films.
Yeah.
So I figured, well, and I enjoy talking. So why don't I combine those two?
Yeah.
And then I rang you, and you were like, all right. and that's how it's happened.
Yeah, and I figured that, you know, commentaries of films are quite good, but I don't expect people to watch any of our films more than once. So I figured
it's not required.
We should have you watch the film itself, and we'll talk over a different video.
Yeah, there'll be clips of the film and clips of like the outtakes and stuff as we talk about it.
Yeah.
And this is the experimental one that's got a way too long an intro, but we'll start talking about it soon. I'm sure we will. I'm sure we won't just not talk about it.
No.
Boom!
Winner!
Boom! Out to joy! Kick up extreme favor! 10,000. Every fucking time it's 10,000. I think I've got like 100,000 once, and I've put like 20 fucking hours into Peggle. Yeah, 10,000. Anyway, so we shouldn't be talking about the game.
No.
Should be talking about a film. So Pyrobelle. We might do this for other films, and we might do director's commentary on some of our really, really old shit, because I think it'd be amazing to go back and just listen to the cringe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Part 1. So Parabel, how did Parabel come about?
So Parabel was a script that you wrote.
I did. I wrote while we were setting up for help me out, Mistake, which is also on the channel. Clip from that here, maybe. We found the actress who we work with, Charlotte Louisa, is fucking, and still is fucking incredible. We might actually be working with her again, because I wrote 2 scripts for her, basically. Yeah. Like, it was like, I think she'd be good in those roles, and they're both completely different roles. And she had a showreel, and I was a bit like, well, those are the 2 things I haven't really seen in her showreel, so it'd be good for her as well, type of thing. And because she's willing to work for expenses, or was with us, though I'm not, if we could pay and afford to pay, we do. Yeah. It's just we don't really ever work to budgets, but we're pretty straight on that. We always cover expenses. No one loses money working with us.
No.
Only time and dignity. But anyway, so I wrote Pyrobelle as one of those 2, which was the superhero-y aspect for her. But then when we came up to, like, we were ready for our first rehearsal, we realised she had 2 dates free, and then she was going to London.
Yeah.
She's actually back. But normally when an actor goes to London, that's it. They're pretty much dead to us because they're going to go on and be a success. Yeah, and then they don't want to put up with that shit because they work with real people who do real films.
That's the point when actors are like, oh, look, you can make money from this. And then they suddenly realise, oh, I should probably charge for my services.
Yeah, you can make money from it and people actually know what they're doing. Yeah. Don't just throw shit at walls. So fuck these guys.
Yeah.
Which I'm all for. You know, most of the actors we work with have been amazing. So, wrote the script for her, and she really liked it. She liked them both, and she called them, and I quote, they're both roles to die for. Now, that might have just been blowing smoke up my ass, but she didn't need to work with us, and she was going to London anyway, so I felt like, oh, that might be true. And it so, like, gave me an ego boost. I was like, a really good actor likes something I wrote for them. But then, like I said, she went to London and couldn't do it. So, she had to drop out. Which sucked, because it changed. We had to recast both roles.
Yeah.
But we'd already... okay, so Parabel is 2 characters. Dr. Deeds and Parabel. Charlotte was going to be Parabel. Tom's taken over for a little bit. And the other role was Dr. Deeds. I always knew that was going to be Danny. Because Danny is, like, fantastic.
And she just has the right sort of persona for that role as well.
Well,
Like, her radio voice is, like, the perfect Doctor voice.
She's a radio presenter, a TV presenter, an actress, both for film and stage, a wrestling manager, a voiceover actor who she's just incredible, and she does all this awesome stuff. And I always really wanted to work with her. She's friends with Grace, who's Grace Fisher, another really talented actress who we've worked with on lots of things.
Yeah.
And always really wanted to work with her. And we've come close and actually filmed some stuff. Here's some random clips of stuff we did with her. But none of it ever made it to the final edit for various reasons. I had to drop out, hospitalised, laziness.
Not hospitalised because of us, hospitalised because of illnesses, the unforeseen by us.
That's what we're telling people.
Yeah.
It might have been Michelle Rodrigo. She's pretty fucking violent. But, so Danny always was going to have that part.
Yeah.
And she was straight into it, and you could see her as a part, I could see her as a part. Charlotte, I saw her as Parabel because I wrote it for her, but then she had to drop out. And I remember, because we just got the foam, which was Avalanche foam spray.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, how do I make sure this doesn't burn people? And you came up with, we'll spray a bit on the arm.
Yeah.
So I'm like, with every actor, whenever I know it's something weird, like, hi, I want to spray foam on your arm, I have to text or email them before and make sure they understand. And sometimes I'll try and ring them. And Charlotte had a shitload going on, so ringing her was nearly impossible to get a reply. Danny, the only flaw Danny has is it will take, if it's really important, she's straight away back to you. But if it's not really important, or it's something for her benefit, she's not back to you quickly at all. Like, you just have to bombard her with contact. So I'm like, trying to ring Danny and Charlotte, and neither's getting in touch, and then Charlotte can't get Charlotte down for dates, and then she had to drop out. So Charlotte went, but Danny stayed as Dr. Deeds, and I remember because it was like the night before we were going to do a rehearsal, the first rehearsal that it was, and the rehearsals were big because Danny had job commitments and everything, so it was like very limited evenings we were going to work on it, while we're also working on this other film, which is currently called Anti-Hero, but that name will almost definitely change.
Nah,
which is
it's favourite name now. The
other script I wrote for Charlotte, who we had to recast, but the person we recast is now unavailable, and Charlotte's now back available for a bit. So we're going to, hopefully, that will be out in a few months, or filmed in a few months at least, and we'll see how that goes, which is a completely different thing again. But anyway, so then we had to recast. And recasting, like, I don't know, how do you feel about recasting? Because
I don't have a problem with recasting, but there are times. I didn't have it for Parabel. I had it a little bit for Anti-Hero, where you get to the point where you're set on that is that's who the character's going to be, and now you've got to find someone who looks and acts like that person.
I don't know about looks like that person, but like when you see the role,
which we did manage to do with Anti-Hero. Parabel, it wasn't so much of a problem for me because the person we got to play Parabel, like when we were casting, I said to you, I think she could be the role. But you saw Charlotte.
I was going to move on to that, but Izzy Bryce, which we'll move on to Izzy, but just finishing. So casting, right? When we first started doing this shit, once we cast a role, for me, like I was all like, oh, it's like I want my relationships to actors to be like Johnny Depp and emo punk guy. What's his name? Edward Scissorhands director, Tim Burton. Yeah. So I'm like, I want all like my actors to be that's their role and they get into it and there was no one else and stuff. So I found it really hard recasting. But as we've gone along and you figure out that it fucking happens all the time, and sometimes it's just down to you didn't get it right, and sometimes it's down to time commitments, and sometimes it's down to that person just doesn't actually fit, like isn't right for it.
Yeah.
I've got more and more used to it, so I wasn't too bothered about recasting, but I really struggled to see who was in it. Who, out of all the actors we've auditioned and met recently, who we could just quickly go to and see if they could play. I was like, oh, we're going to have to do another casting call and stuff. And then you were like, what about Izzy?
Yeah.
Now, Izzy was effectively the understudy for Mistake, the film that Charlotte Louisa ended up in. And what impressed us with Izzy is everything was on her end. All the contact, she pushed contact with us. She pushed, like, after contact with the audition, she pushed, like, have you made a decision yet? have you cast yet? And we like were waiting back to hear back from people, so and to finish auditions because someone had been ill and rearranged, and she just kept everything up, like really seemed like she really wanted the role. So and then when we didn't cast her, she was like totally, I don't want to say like professional, but totally like understanding, but stayed in touch and everything about it. So I was sort of like, yeah, maybe that could work. I'm not all that sure, but we'll see. Bring her in. And we did. It was a Monday because I finished work at my shitty job, and then I was absolutely knackered, and I had like an hour to shower, eat, and tidy the house before they came around, and then we recorded.
Yeah.
Do you remember that day? So in my living room, I might throw some clips in of like we just sat them down on the sofa and started them reading it.
Just gets things wet. Fire burns them.
Yes, but Water Girl, I mean, she stopped the Galactic Trio single-handed.
Actually, I helped with that.
Really? Because I only heard about Water Girl.
No, I was there.
Well, we should tell people about this.
No, it's there was an accident. I've got to be in my car.
So my direction.
They just pop
The
all the
direction.
time.
I can't do that. And I can't blow the bubbles.
Either.
I can't blow the bubbles, and I can't.
I have no idea.
I can make a proper sound tune, that's about it.
I'll just use my tongue
That
again.
was a big So I cut out a couple of bits.
I'll be like my year 11 class in GCSE.
I saw you moving the pen. On the
Yes.
page before?
Are you being tired? Why do I have to do this? That don't even make sense, kids. You can't use the word tie for making you do work.
Okay.